What's up, people? I'm Carl Nassib. Just want to take a quick moment to say that I'm gay. I've been meaning to do this for a while now, but I finally feel comfortable enough to get it off my chest. I really have the best life. I got the best family, friends, and job a guy could ask for. Pretty private person, so I hope you guys know that I'm really not doing this for attention. I just think that representation and visibility are so important. I actually hope that one day videos like this and the whole coming out process are just not necessary. But until then, I'm going to do my best and do my part to cultivate a culture that's accepting, that's compassionate, and I'm going to start by donating $100,000 to the Trevor Project.
It's not an easy thing for anyone to do, and I can't even put myself in the shoes of that. It's very clear that Carl Nassib, based off of what he told us right there, is that he has an unbelievable support system that allows him to feel that way. We'll see if the locker room that he shares with other members of the Las Vegas Raiders feels the same way. I hope that they will. I honestly think that they will too. Maybe I'm naive in thinking that, but it's great that he felt comfortable doing that. And the reason he does something like that is not to call attention to himself. It's to make it easier for other athletes and just people feel comfortable doing something like that too.
I feel great for Carl Nassib. I'm happy that he feels secure and supported and safe enough to do this and to be open about this. I don't want to be sort of turn a blind eye to the possibility that that could change the way some people look at him, even though I think that that would be really unfortunate. Like, it takes some courage to do this and to expose and to show all of yourself. I think it is really important. Representation does matter. Showing an example and support for it, I think, really is important. I know that I'm also going to end up cringing at some of the coverage of this, because even how you phrase it, the first openly gay male athlete in American sports, that's not true. There have been tons of athletes who have been openly gay. It's never happened in a major American male team sport. And there we're getting really specific about it and creating sort of a landmark and why this is important. I think what it's important for mostly is for Carl Nassib and for the community of gay men who are aspiring or current football players of allowing them to be their full selves and being able to embrace and accept that. I also think, and this is something I just feel personally, that the coverage of this story should in some ways defer to what Carl Nassib wants. Like, we should take some cues from him as opposed to just any attempt to say, like, okay, how has it been now that there is an openly gay NFL player in the locker room, and going and asking his teammates all of the different things. And because I think that at times, while the motivation might be to make sure that, hey, we want to make sure that he's being treated fairly and he's not being ostracized and all of those things, well, at the same time, that can create its own sort of spectacle. And I don't know. We should be respectful of what Carl Nassib wants as well here.
I think we have come a long way since before Super Bowl 22. This is an entirely different story, topic, but when a reporter asked Doug Williams, the quarterback of Washington football team then, how long have you been a black quarterback?
Right.
Which is just such a dumb question. But I think we have come a long way since then. I don't think that we're going to ask those kind of callous questions. And I remember a couple of years ago on the entire matter of Colin Kaepernick, thinking to myself, I think the 24-hour news cycle is such that, yeah, there would be some coverage of this if Kaepernick had been back on a team, but after like a week or two, it would have probably faded into this into the back. And that's, I think, what Nassib wants, and that's, I think, what will happen here in this situation. I don't think this is, if this was, and this is no offense meant to Carl Nassib or anything like that, but if we're talking about like one of the best players in the NFL, then I think it's an entirely different story, because then there are going to be people that are perhaps pushing him to be like the representative of a entire community because of the high profile that he has. And
I get what you're saying. I don't think it should be different, though. I think it depends on the person. And they'll talk about this in cases of harassment or other things about centering the victim. Carl Nassib's not a victim here at all. Like, he's someone that's showing incredible strength, but we should take our cues from the player. And if this was the best defensive end in the league, I get what you're saying, and I don't think you're wrong. Like, there's
more
different
pressure
pressures
on him. Yeah,
there would be and more visibility, but it still shouldn't change. These sort of stories, I guess this is why it means a lot to me, and I think that it's important that Carl Nassib did this, and I want to. The important part is that he felt comfortable enough to declare and to state openly this and what that means for the community. Some people know my stepfather and my mom. My dad died when I was in 8th grade. My mom remarried pretty quickly, and she was my stepfather, and she got divorced. It would have been they separated about 10 years after they were married, but 11 years. And for the longest time, I didn't know. I knew that the relationship had gone sideways, and it turned out that my stepfather had cheated on her, and it cheated on her with a dude. And when I found that out for the first time, because I've been really mad, and I've got a lot of anger at him for a lot of other reasons, it was the first time that I really felt true sympathy for him when I found that out. He'd been raised Catholic. He'd been a Christian brother, which is sort of a male religious order in the Catholic Church. He had married my mom and taken on 3 kids to become a father, essentially, of the household. He tried everything he could to be straight. He tried everything he could to be straight. And he wasn't. I don't know. I haven't talked to him in 15 years. And I don't know if he's out now or how he's living or any of those sort of things. I do know that broke him. That broke him, and it made him do things that were awful to my mom that had long-term consequences, and I came away from that. I think it's important that people be honest, because it's not about politics. It's about identity. It's not about a choice. It's about who you are, and embracing and accepting people for who they are and having them in a place where they feel safe to be able to say that is really important. So as far as all of the long-term implications, I think we'll see it play out. I think it is important that Carl Nassib comes out and says this and feels comfortable enough to say it, not just because he feels that way, but because I think it will make it easier for other players. He's not the first gay NFL player.
No.
And I'll tell you what, he is not the first gay NFL player that guys in the locker room have known is gay. I guarantee it. There's way more. It's just never been public like this before, and that's in that case, this is a good step.
First, thanks for sharing that with us, Danny. Second, it's in the beginning of the Declaration of Independence, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and yet for a lot of people, they don't actually authentically have that. And I want more people to feel comfortable in that. And honestly, I really think we have come a long way on that. Again, there's religious things and other things that are obstacles for some people to actually be empathetic to somebody who is going through something like this. But that's what I would ask you. Hey, is this person allowed to do what makes them happy? Because that's what our country is all about.
Yes, it is. And that's 100%. Give yourself a chance to be happy. I think you have to be your full self. And being able to be your full self and full view of everyone, I think is a really positive step.